Welcome to the GoTeez Sports Page, coming to you live from the Bluetick Tavern in Maryville at 92.5 FM and 1180 AM. Streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Bringing you the best in Blount County sports since 1978. Featuring the Greenfield Gunner, Mike Edwards, former Maryville Scott, Donnie Moore, and from the Daily Times, Marcus Fitzsimmons.
Hello, everybody. I'm Mike Edwards, the Greenfield Gunner, and I'm here at the Bluetick Tavern in downtown Maryville, along with Blount County Sports Hall of Famer Donnie Moore and longtime sports writer Marcus Fitzsimmons. And this is the GoTeez Sports Page. It's hog killing time in Tennessee, and we're going to the whistle blows. And now let's set today's lineup card. Donnie Moore will report on the latest high school football scores involving Blount County teams, and we'll follow up with some national sports stories. Marcus Fitzsimmons will be on board to update us on what's happening in the local high school sports. Alcoa Tornado Cross Country will be on the agenda. I'll talk some UT football along with the latest SEC news. Our panel will look at today's SEC football schedule along with some of the top national contests from across the country, and we'll break down the college football rankings. The Letter Rip segment is set to go, so let's break the huddle and dive right in. Good morning, Donnie Moore and Marcus Fitzsimmons on this beautiful fall day here in East Tennessee, and the Razorbacks are in town, and they couldn't have a better day for football.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful day outside. We're sun's shining here on Broadway at the Bluetick Tavern here in downtown Maryville, and we're ready to roll.
Yeah, did you guys stay up?
You're thinking pizza, Donnie, but you know what? All apologies to Ray Trail, but I'm in the mood for barbecue today.
Yeah, there you go.
Sounds good.
There you go. Hey, did you guys stay up last night and watch that Seattle
I did.
Detroit game?
Yeah.
Got over about 1:30 in the morning. You stay up and watch the whole thing?
Nah, just not.
All
just most
15
of it.
innings
Just
of
most
it?
of it. I didn't watch
15
all
innings,
15
yeah. They
innings,
almost played
so.
2 games last night, and Seattle came out and won it.
That's true. They did.
Boy, how does Detroit feel today? You know, after, it's bad enough losing, but going 15 innings.
I know,
and
yeah.
Having a chance to win the game several times, and they just didn't get it done.
No, they didn't. Absolutely.
And in the playoffs, the home team seems to have they've got the upper hand, don't they?
Yeah, a little advantage right there.
Well,
Home
that's why you play that 162 game season to get that advantage.
Yes,
That's the reward at the end.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you struggle through June and July and don't drop that midweek game that you could have.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I got her a letter rip this morning. So
Let's let it rip.
Yeah, I'm a little on the Mannings. One of the Mannings this morning. I hate to do that right here because the Mannings around here are they're sort of like a golden cow.
Yeah,
and I just,
highly revered.
Yeah, I hate to do it, but I can't resist this morning. Last Saturday, the Texas Longhorns and Arch Manning went into the swamp and lost to a Florida Gator team who had won only one game. The final score was 29-21. In his stint at quarterback, Arch Manning has beaten Colorado State, University of Texas Antonio, San Jose State, the University of Texas El Paso, and Sam Houston. This season, the Longhorns were penciled in as the nation's #1 team, and Arch a Heisman frontrunner. But thus far, this Texas team and old Arch are headed in the wrong direction. Based on his $6 million NIL deal for 2025, Texas fans are certainly not getting their money's worth. Maybe the Manning name could be inflated in this situation, or maybe Arch is having trouble upholding the pressure on his shoulders, or he is just not as good as projected. The loss to Ohio State can be understood, but the loss to Florida, I don't think so. Oh, now I get it. Uncle Peyton gave him the advice on how to play in the swamp. Whoops. Uncle Peyton was 0-4 in Gatorland. Now we get it. Huh? I don't know. What's going on? What's going on with Arch Manning?
I believe I may have mentioned that last week that I had very strong concerns about a Manning playing in the swamp, especially with an orange team with a T on their chest.
You
You hit it. You hit it right on the head.
And that kind of proved out. Now, do I lay everything going wrong with Texas right now on Arch's shoulders? I do not. I think he is the focus because he is the quarterback, and that's what you sign up. That's what the $6 million's for. But I don't see Texas's line doing anything. I don't see them giving him the extra time. I don't see them giving a push to get a run game going. I don't see a lot of things not clicking with Texas, and I don't think it's just the quarterback. And I would quibble with the play calls because you put him in a totally different situation of what you're asking him to do than you did a year ago when he was filling in. When he was filling in before, he had a different set of instructions of when to run and when to throw than what he seems to be as the starter. And it doesn't seem to fit what he's comfortable with, what the offense wants to do, what the players wanted. I mean, it just doesn't. None of that seems to be clicking for Texas. None of it.
Marcus, you're more soothing than Preparation H. I'm telling you right now. I'm going to tell you. Since you've thrown that out there, I'm going to throw this out there. Who's off to the better start after last week? Arch Manning down at Texas or Nico Iamaleava out at UCLA, Donnie Moore?
Boy, that's a toss-up.
Now, we know what it would have been maybe before a week or so ago, but
yeah,
after last week, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, Nico came around and a little bit, so.
And it's not only the offensive line out there at UCLA that's pathetic; it's the whole team.
Yeah.
But you know, if Arch is making $6 million and he's got an offensive line problem, maybe he needs to divvy up some of that $6 million to some of them offensive linemen.
Well, I think that's Nico. I think in this example is what will scare people this afternoon a little bit. You have a new head coach. You've already fired your head coach. You got an interim stepping in. He's changing some things up. And one of the things he's doing is he's letting Nico be Nico. He's not saying play to my system. What we saw them do was let Nico play the way Nico likes to play, which was when you want to run, just run. Don't sit there. Don't think about it. Don't second guess yourself. If you feel like you need to run, and run hard when you do. And when you want, they didn't ask him to make deep throws. They asked him to throw where he was comfortable. And when you give him that kind of criteria and that kind of setting, he seemed to perform really well against defense that
he did.
Let's say if he'd had that kind of performance for Tennessee against Ohio State, we'd have had a different postseason last year.
Oh, yeah.
Well, he caught Penn State at a good time after they got beat by Oregon the week before, and they had to travel all the way out to the coast. But nevertheless, that was a tremendous upset. But back to Arch Manning, he's got Oklahoma today. His Texas team, and he, Marcus, has got Oklahoma team today, and Oklahoma has not lost a game. This is big, and Texas comes in at about a 1.5-point favorite.
I wouldn't give them that, and for better or worse, for Texas's perspective, this is kind of Arch's.
Yeah.
This is the call.
Yeah.
You're either going to.
Curtains up.
You've either figured something out in the wake of your trip to Florida or you haven't. And if you haven't and you flop today, there's going to be some very hard questions. You're going to be in the midst of a quarterback controversy.
Yeah. And Donnie Moore, Oklahoma's quarterback, is going to come back after the injury. Mateer is going to be back today to play against Texas. So we'll see how his performance is after being off for several weeks.
If he's back to normal,
in this game,
Texas may be in trouble.
If you've got a pulse and can drag yourself to the field, you're telling Coach you can play for this one. This is Oklahoma, Texas.
That's exactly right.
This is Red River rivalry.
That's exactly right. Hey, I've got some other news. Tennessee basketball schedule came out last week, and the times for the upcoming season. A lot of 8:30 and 9 o'clock games, Donnie. Won't affect
Did you hear
me.
the cheer
Won't
when it
affect
came
me
out?
because I'm in my living room watching the game on television. But for those people that are journeying to the arena and got to walk back to their cars at 12 o'clock midnight,
that's late night.
You know, my heart goes out to those people.
No doubt.
But did you hear the cheer that went up when it was kind of a distant roll of thunder up to the north? Because Kentucky got something else to focus on besides the football season when the SEC released those.
Yeah, and those times of those games, their pre-conference schedule at home, I'm highly disappointed in that schedule at home. I mean, I think the average cost of a season ticket is around $800. Of course, you can pay up to $5,000 for courtside seats. But I'm here to tell you that home you might as well just wait till January to go over there and watch a game anyway. I know it's going to be a little colder, but I was just looking at their schedule before. They got Mercer, Northern Kentucky, North Florida, Tennessee State, Gardner-Webb, South Carolina State, Rice Krispies. Yeah, they got, and then they got one game, Louisville, ranked number 10. All the rest of their games that amount to anything are away from home. Now, I don't know about you guys, but for a top team, I would expect a little bit more from my home fans and come in here and show one respectable team before you open SEC play. That's just, to me, that's just bad scheduling on their part. It's not fan favorable. And then everybody goes, hey, they're going to play Duke. We got Duke October. Hey, that Duke game doesn't mean any more than me sitting here picking my nose. It doesn't count. It doesn't count.
Don't do that. We got a video audience live on Facebook.
I know, but it doesn't count for anything. It's just a show prop game for that matter. I mean, I don't know. I'm disappointed in all of this. And they do have Houston in Las Vegas. They got Illinois in Nashville. Houston's ranked number 2 preseason. Illinois is number 16. But that's pretty much it going into the SEC schedule. And I don't know, for a top program like Tennessee, I'm just a little disappointed in their schedule, before the season starts. Maybe you guys don't.
Well, are you disappointed in their schedule, or are you disappointed in their home, what the fans will see at home?
Well, I'm disappointed in the home schedule more than anything else.
Fans deserve better than that.
Yeah, I think on the road
well,
there.
you could see it that way. But if I've just done a NIL ticket increase surcharge,
which they have,
I'm looking at my fan base and who's buying tickets. Yeah, I want to give them some good games, but I'm going to give them a lot of good games in January and February when the SEC schedule comes along. I'm not going to be totally opposed to making sure I give them a couple big wins where they can see all the excitement they want right there early in November and December when people are likely to be trading tickets anyway, and that's when they're going to give you're not going to give away your Kentucky tickets. You're going to give away your Tennessee State tickets.
I just like the schedules back in the day where you played, maybe a little lesser opponent for the first game, and then you got into your schedule and you played 25 pretty stout basketball teams, all Power 4 type opponents. Who cares about Mercer and North Florida? Who cares about those games? They're worthless. They're bully games. Nobody likes a bully, but that's what they are.
But I think they have a new purpose in the NIL era. Now, if this was 4 years ago, I would be more on your side. But in the NIL era, where you're basically rebuilding your roster every year, and you don't have the 4-year guy is now the exception to the rule. You kind of need those games just to play somebody else and get a feel for what you can and can't do, because you don't know. You didn't see half your starting lineup a year ago. You don't know what they can do. You've seen them against each other. That. But I think you kind of need those to try to figure out what you're going to do before conference play starts, because you don't have that experience and time with the players that you could rely on before.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Marcus
sounds like he's working for the Vol Network.
I'm making excuses for him, and I know it. But at the same time, it's a legitimate excuse. Just because it's an excuse doesn't mean it's not valid.
Well, that's the only one you could find, isn't it? Pretty much.
Well, let me say this. If Danny White was to call the show in just a couple minutes and offer us a box for the season, would I be more likely to give away my tickets in November and December or January and February? I'd be giving away my tickets in November and December rather than my January, February tickets.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that they're not a good package.
Yeah. Okay. All right. The other big news before we get into Arkansas and Tennessee football today is the fact that the NCAA is fixing to pass a resolution to allow college players and college coaching staffs to bet on professional sports.
Wow.
How about that deal? Now, have we just absolutely, with the NCAA and college, are we just all living in Pottersville now?
This is
'Cause,
the,
I mean, this is
the most cowardly white flag the NCAA has waved yet.
Yeah.
This one is. There's no excuse for this one. There's no reason and justification except we're scared to try to enforce our own rules. We give up.
Yeah.
Well, they know they can't enforce them.
Major pros do.
They do. You're right.
But it takes technology and it takes a police force, and NCAA is not willing to police
Here
anybody.
you got a bunch of college guys out there that's got this NIL money, and they got more money than they know what to do with. So, well, let's just put a few bets out on some college or some pro games now. I just think it's a bad idea. It's just not healthy. You know, it's just not something you want college guys to be doing right now in their situation. But
there's no argument for it. There's no justification for it whatsoever, except we don't want to deal with it. Yeah. You look at what you've got going on. The very premise from the beginning of betting in sports has always been that once you get in deep with someone and you owe them money, then it doesn't matter if you're betting on college or pro. Once you owe money to somebody, you are kind of under their thumb, and you bring a credibility question to whether they're going to be throwing games or not. That's always been the problem. You add on to that, though, that every bit of data we've gotten in the last 3 years about online sports betting, especially on college-age men, it's an epidemic. Yeah. You got kids owing thousands of dollars betting rather than going to class because they can't get off their app because they're making prop bets. Yeah. And you're going to justify it and say, okay, what could possibly go wrong if we say that's okay? Yeah. We're going to actually say, y'all go ahead and do it.
Yeah. I don't get it. Donnie, sometimes I feel like I'm in the Twilight Zone with the NCAA. You remember the Twilight the Twilight Zone movie film?
Rod Serling.
Yeah, and it had the boy, that if anybody disagreed with him, he sent him to the cornfield. Yeah. I'm to the point with the NCAA. Just send me to the cornfield right now. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go.
I mean, it's one of these basic things. We've said in the last 5 years, we have reemphasized again the day. This is the legal drinking age. Drinking and driving have gotten tougher and tougher. We've moved smoking back to 21 because apparently they can't decide before then. Mm-hmm. But we're going to let you bet as an athlete, and with that kind of responsibility and all the impacts that can have, that's going to be okay.
I don't see how that works.
That couldn't possibly go wrong.
Who's going to monitor all this? And see,
that's the thing.
If you allow that leeway, is there any chance or any possibility that it could drip back into the college to where they would bet on a college situation? We had an issue out west somewhere out there. I forget what school it was, but the NCAA.
Well, how are you going to tell the difference?
They got caught betting on college games. Mm-hmm. The players did, and they're done with their college careers. Do you worry about that seeping down into the college spectrum? And
when you go on these platforms, it's not like it's divided into pro and college as to from the perspective of somebody looking over your shoulder, not owning your account. You can't tell what they're doing. How are they going to keep track of that? And why is it okay if we're pro but not college? Just because you can't bet on yourself? Okay, but that doesn't mitigate any of the other problems. There is no way that a sober person made a rational decision that said this was a good thing to do.
Yeah. Well, anyway, that's going to come out. That's going to come out next week. Right. Right here at Halloween.
I would equate it literally to Ed Mitchell walking out in the county commission and say, you know what, guys, I don't care what the rules say. Moonshining's fine. Y'all run the stills up wherever you want. We're not going to care anymore.
Yeah, behave yourself.
Yeah, just do it right.
Yeah, do it right. Hey, Arkansas comes in today to Tennessee, and they come in with a 2-3 record and a new coach, and Bobby Petrino, an interim coach. The Vols enter the contest, of course, at 4-1 and ranked number 12. And Don, we talked about before the show, sometimes Tennessee's better off not playing. They make their biggest moves in the polls when they don't play. They went from 15 to 12 last week, and they didn't even have a snap.
They sure did.
So,
That's
I don't know. We'll check the schedule and see when the next off weekend and see how we're doing. Maybe we move up.
See how we can move up in the polls.
Yeah, but Donnie, what's the biggest concern for Tennessee going into this game today with Arkansas?
I think the biggest concern for the Vols is making sure that they get out to an early lead. Because if they don't, and they have to play from behind or play neck and neck for a while and let Arkansas hang around, then there's a good chance that they can capitalize on that.
Marcus, any concern with Bobby Petrino coming in here and after they fired their coach there a week or so, 2 weeks ago, as far as game preparation? Are you going back and look at what Bobby Petrino did as head coach at Arkansas and other places that he's been? It's almost like preparing for a home opener, is it not?
It is.
In a way, but he's been the coordinator, so you have a fairly good idea that he's running what he wants to run to a large part. Now, maybe there's some things he wanted to do that he wasn't allowed to do. You're going to see some new wrinkles and that sort of thing, but I don't think you're going to see a wholesale system change. But that said, you got a glaring example that's been the talk of the town this week. You don't want to be Penn State.
Ooh.
You do not want to let Arkansas come in here and just whoop up on you and looking totally unprepared with the new coach and an inspired team that thinks that this has turned everything around.
Yeah.
And so Donnie's right. I think the best thing Tennessee can do, and I would even go so far as to say they might consider just, if they win the coin flip, taking the ball, is hit them early. And that's what Tennessee has typically been good at, especially this season, is put them down 14-0. Let Arkansas play from behind in front of that crowd. And that's the best thing you can do to help yourself.
Donnie, I'm a little bit concerned about the football game because everybody's going by the fact that Notre Dame went down there and put it on Arkansas. So I'm not so sure how much of this has to do with the ability of this Arkansas football team versus their mental approach at the time they got beat by Notre Dame. If I'm Bobby Petrino, I'm just saying, take that Notre Dame game and just shelf it.
Flush it.
And look what we did against Ole Miss and where they're at right now. We had a chance to beat Ole Miss in Oxford, and we did lose to Memphis by 1 point. But that's disappointing that we didn't get that, but they're undefeated. They haven't lost a football game. And try to put as much of a positive deal on this and say, look, this is our chance to get back to respectability. We got a ranked team. And they struggled at Mississippi State in their home opener down there. And let's compare our situation with Mississippi State. I think we're pretty comparable. I mean, I think he's going to play some mental games with his football team going in. Don't you think or not?
I agree with you 100%. I think he's going to try to spin it to where the season has been very positive for them so far.
Yeah. One of their biggest concerns has been their defense. Arkansas. They've given up a lot of points, and that's also a concern for Tennessee.
Yeah, it
is the defensive side of the ball. If Arkansas comes in here and they run the ball, Marcus, and they shorten the game, that's not going to be good for Tennessee either. They want an up-tempo game, I think, and like you said, make Arkansas come from behind. But if Arkansas gets off to a good start and is able to control the tempo of the game, such as Mississippi State did after their start down there, this could be a game to watch. I mean, they're a 10-point favorite. It's not like they're coming in at a 20-point clip on an Arkansas team. So I don't know.
No, but I think Tennessee has had 2 weeks to look at that Mississippi State tape, and there's limits to what you can improve on. I mean, your personnel is your personnel at this point, and your availability is who you have, but schematically, there are some things that I think they can tweak and adjust a little bit matchup-wise that can help in that secondary, and it just depends on how they want to play this. But I have to think that there's a lot of lessons they took from that win. Some of the best coaches or big proponents of you learn more from a loss than you do a win. But an overtime win was just this close to being a loss, so it can be just as impactful, especially when you've had time to think about it for 2 weeks. That you can take some lessons out of that where guys can say, "I'm not letting that happen to me again."
Yeah. I know they had the tough game at Mississippi State, Donnie, and I know that they got Arkansas coming in here today. But is there any chance of some complacency on this Tennessee team, saying, they changed coaches down there, they're in disarray, look what Notre Dame did to them, they just beat the living hound out of them, and we got Alabama next week, right?
Yeah.
Got Alabama next week down in Birmingham. Is that factor of looking kind of ahead and maybe just being a little bit complacent going into this game, putting everything aside?
Well, you would like to think that Coach Hype will not let that happen, but Notre Dame is a better football team than a lot of people think they are this year.
Yeah, they lost to Miami, and they lost to
not everybody,
Texas A&M.
Not everybody, but
Marcus.
I mean, have you ever had Irish bacon? It's enough to make the pig say, "Man, that tastes good." So there was some extra incentive when they went and played Arkansas.
Yeah, Irish bacon.
Yeah, but they've got good personnel. Notre Dame's got good personnel
yeah.
up there. They've got some solid football players, but then they got off to the rough start.
And I think they're coached well too.
Yeah, but I'm worried a little bit about overlooking this game and looking at Alabama next week.
It certainly could happen.
So I think the bye week helps you here because I don't think you got the chance to look ahead. You're just ready to play somebody today. You're not worried. I don't think they're worried about who. They just want to get back on the field and play somebody because you've had a chance to rest. You've got a chance to learn.
Right.
You're tired of hitting each other already. You want to get back to it.
Yeah. Well, and you get a chance to heal some guys up. The Hog quarterback, Talon Green, he's an option quarterback. He can run the football.
Good runner.
He can throw the football. But, Marcus, he's prone to mistakes. He's prone to fumbling and interceptions. You don't really know what you're going to get with him.
And we don't know what –
exciting player, but I don't know. You don't know what you're going to get.
That's the thing that I'm most curious to see because – and, again, I'm going to make the UCLA comparison. They were asking him to do things within that offense. If you tweak it just a few little bits about letting him do what he's most comfortable with and playing to his strengths and adjusting that a little bit, you can make him a better weapon. And I think Tennessee is concerned about that.
I think so too.
Because if he's having an on game and they are able to do some things with him, they can put some real pressure on Tennessee's defensive front.
Yeah.
And what you don't want to have happen is the defensive front switch from attack to contain. Because once you try to contain him, he's just going to throw over you.
Yeah.
And you get caught in that trap. You want to keep the mentality of bringing him down and stopping them, not just trying to put him in a bubble and keep him from doing things to you. So you still got to be aggressive with him and not let him get settled and get comfortable and start doing some things he wants to do.
Donnie Moore, I know we have to get out, but real quick, is this a revenge game for Tennessee? They lost down at Arkansas last year, I believe, and I think they've lost the last four.
Last four
To Arkansas.
Well, it's certainly a revenge game.
I would think so.
Yeah, I mean the Vols want to end this skid to a team that they should have beat last year.
There's a lot of talk about the game 2 decades ago, and I can't believe it's been that long.
Mm-hmm.
But when they went 6 overtimes, were you there? I was there that night.
I was not there,
but I was watching. It just went on and on and on and on.
It did.
I mean, it just looked like it was never going to end, because you kept playing those plays down on the goal line, and both teams just looked like they were wore out. And finally Tennessee won it in the 6th overtime. I think Arkansas kicked a field goal on their possession in the 6th overtime, then Tennessee Vols scored a touchdown and won it in 6 overtimes. And I think that was the second longest game in NCAA history at that particular time. And I think 9 is the longest now. Penn State and Illinois played 9. Can you imagine that? 9 overtime. It seems like after a time you would just say, hey, we're just calling it a tie. Everybody go home. After a 6th overtime, you're like, really neither team deserves to lose this game. Let's just go home. You know, there's some advantage to the old system when you had a tie, you know. And, but anyway, that was an exciting game, and they have brought that up a few times. But we'll see.
Yes,
we'll see.
we will.
The other thing that bothers me is they got the red and white uniforms, and a lot of times when we play against red and white, we think we're playing Alabama.
Alabama.
So we get a little bit on the edgy side there. But we'll see what happens. It's going to be a great day for it.
It is.
We'll take a timeout here, and when we return, Donnie Moore will provide high school football scores from last night and some other news from around the area. And veteran sports writer Marcus Fitzsimmons joins us with his feature, Mark It Down. You're listening to the GoTeez Sports Page, Blount County Sports Voice. And now stay tuned for the best in local sports.
For over 90 years, Anderson Lumber Company in Alcoa has proudly served and supported our local communities. Locally owned, so the money made here stays here. Whether you're renovating a kitchen, bath, new floors, doors, or windows, Anderson Lumber is so much more than a lumber store and can take care of you from design to install. We welcome you to visit Anderson Lumber in Alcoa for all your home's needs, or shop over 67,000 items online at AndersonLumberCompany.com. Anderson Lumber since 1925. Aubrey's is known for real comfort, real food, real good. But remember, Aubrey's is also really into Blount County. Aubrey's Maryville has been a strong supporter of local schools and sports programs for more than 15 years. From baseball to football, dance teams, and marching bands, Aubrey's has helped schools and youth programs generate thousands of dollars. It's easy for us to do because it's the right thing to do. So the next time you're looking to choose a place to eat, we hope you'll choose Aubrey's. Real comfort, real food, real good. See what's on the menu at aubreysrestaurants.com.
Welcome back to the GoTeez Sports Page. Donnie Moore, all the Blount County teams they're off. They headed to the beach. Huh?
Everybody's on fall break. Yeah,
they're catching their breath, and they can't hold that breath too long because some of them, when they come back, are looking at some big games.
That's right. They're going
as far as playoffs are concerned.
They're holding their breath, going to turn blue for too long. Won't
Absolutely. Well, what do you got?
Well, let's start the local focus, sponsored by our friends at Mandy B Street Realty. And we only have one game on tap, high school game that is, tonight, the one that played last night. Seymour versus Northview Academy. And Marcus, Seymour won. They got a victory last night.
They did 4-4 now?
Is that what they are? 4-4? I think that's right. 4-4.
So I think 4 wins is the best win total since maybe 21.
Yeah.
For about 4 years. Most points they put up this year. Done it in back-to-back weeks. They put up 36, I believe, the week before.
And last night they put up 50 against Northview. Yeah.
And that's Northview's not an old school at this point.
No.
You know, a decade, 15 years, something like that. So it's not like they've got the 50 or 60-year history Seymour does. But it's still, they are neighboring schools, and at one point, you know, probably a quarter of the kids that go to Northview now would have gone to Seymour, and the others would have probably went to Sevier County. So that school, in a way, it's helped Seymour, but it's because it's kind of like the Eagleton thing, because if it wasn't for that, Seymour would probably be a 5 or 6A school without Northview. So that's kind of helped Seymour in a way, but they're still very competitive with each other. It was always that way with the middle school level, but now that there's a high school down there, this is one of those games. I would put it above Pigeon Forge and Sevier County, but that's me. I think GP is always going to be the one that Seymour's going to hate the most. But from those county rivalries, this is the newest one, but it's still one that counts. So it was a great win for them.
It was, indeed.
It shows a lot of growth that's coming on already in that program. And you see some of those little things improving from what I've seen. I'm seeing some similarities to the way Tullahoma got back on the right track 5 or 6 years ago.
Yeah,
so, and
there's
that's no coincidence given the head coach. So,
well, you know, upshot is 50-22 was their victory over Northview Academy. And next week, Seymour's idle. They don't play next week.
They get
got a
the week
break.
off, and then they close with 2 games back. They play the last 2 weeks, basically trying to make their case for a playoff spot.
Gotcha. You mentioned Sevier County, and I watched all of that game.
What a
last
great
night.
game
It was
that
a
was
great
last
game.
night.
Grace Christian beat Sevier County last night at home at Sevier County's place, and that was the first game Sevier County had dropped.
So-
Defending 5A state champs right there.
So here's the numbers that I was looking up. So state's longest winning streak, it was 1 game longer than Alcoa's. It's now come to a close.
Wow.
So the longest active win streak in the state now goes to Alcoa. But you got to remember who the Grace Christian coaches are.
Mm-hmm.
Price twins.
Price.
From over here at Maryville College, they were have had that career. They were assistants at Anderson County and had Campbell County, and now they're down at Grace. But do you know Sevier County's home win streak went back to 2022?
Wow.
And you know who the last team to beat Sevier County was?
22. Was it William Blunt?
No, it was Campbell County and the
Campbell
Price
County?
twins.
Oh, okay. Well, that explains it then.
They were the last ones to win at Sevier County, so there's a little bit to that.
Smoky Bears are going to start
But-
hating that last name, aren't they?
Yeah, they really are. But I was got to give a shout out. I got to talk to both of them before last season when they were moving in at Grace and making the transition.
Mm-hmm.
And they came in and they had this is prototypical throwing quarterback who was a senior last year, and had a great compliment for him in their run game, and were able to do a lot of things they like to do, which is all. I mean, you're talking about a quarterback coach.
Yeah.
So they always tend to want to throw the ball more, or at least take more chances. But then you've got that that first year he's graduating and you've got to start over, and they have made a fantastic transition to riding their best athletes at running back. They've got a 2-headed monster there. Those kids, I mean, you could watch that game. Sevier County knew what they were going to do. Everybody in the stadium knew what they were going to do. One of the 2 guys was going to touch that ball and carry. All you had to do was stop them, and they couldn't stop them. And you're talking about some college prospects in that Sevier County Bears secondary, not secondary, but in their defense.
Yeah.
Up front and in that front 7, and they couldn't wrap those guys up.
Nope.
They just they couldn't get. I don't know if they were greased uniforms. I don't want to start any rumors here, but
I'm not
it
sure.
just looked like they just could twist out of any tackle. They just have that ability to get free from people.
They sure do.
Y'all missed that hump in the middle of that field up there at Sevier County. I was looking for that hump. They got a nice new field up there. It looks nice.
Pretty flat now.
Yeah.
I
I was sitting there thinking, how much dirt did they have to haul from the center of that field when they leveled it out?
If you were standing on the sideline on one side, you couldn't see the feet of the players on the other side.
They had a nice crown on that old field.
Yeah. No, didn't have a water problem.
It kind of looked like if you looked at it the right way, it kind of had the same shape. But if you looked at it from the opposing sideline, it had the same shape as the basketball gym in that dome.
Yes. That's fine. But they got a nice place to play now.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
Well, I can't tell you who the local teams played last night because it's nobody. Alcoa, Eagleton, Greenback, Maryville,
you said
William
that
Blunt.
wrong, Donnie. The local teams went undefeated last night.
Well, they did. If you want
Not a single team, not a single of the 6 lost.
A positive spin on that. But I can tell you who they're going to play next week. So let's look at that for a minute.
Well, see, I've got a breakdown here of not only who they're playing next week, but what they've got to do the next 3 weeks.
Oh, I got you. So to end the season.
Because this is the run to this is crunch time. Everybody's got a chance to win their way into a game 11, and I've got it figured out as to what they got to do.
Well, let me tell them who they're playing next week, and then you can expound on
Okay.
that, Marcus.
We'll take a break in between, and we'll switch market down. But go ahead and give them who they got
All
next
right.
week.
Alcoa goes to Heritage next week in a region contest. So that's interesting. How long has it been since Alcoa and Heritage have been in the same region?
In the same region? I'm not.
Ever?
Not since classification, really.
Yeah.
But the last time they played was 2004.
I got you. Yeah, it's been a while. Eagleton goes to Polk County next week in a region matchup.
That'll be quite a trip.
It will.
It'll be
Polk County's
good
back
in there.
Yeah, good little travel distance. Greenback hosts Oakdale in a region contest next week. That should be a decent game, I guess.
It's a big one.
It is a big one, yeah. Maryville is the only team that's not playing a region foe next week. Maryville hosts Science Hill. So in another region. That Science Hill always plays Maryville pretty well.
It's always been a tough game, and
Yeah.
if you remember, was it 2 years ago they went up there and barely got away with a 1-point win.
Yes. And then William Blount, we close out with William Blount, and they host the resurging Knox West. The resurgent team that's lost their first 4, and then they've come around.
That first 4 games, was it a scheduling deal as far as the teams, or what?
It was a bit of a West does what good teams do, and you're talking about a program that's perennially been, a state quarterfinal, state semifinal team. That they were scheduling aggressively, so they set up what basically Alcoa, Maryville, West, and Bearden played a round robin the first month of the season because they all played each other, and so West took a lot of lumps in that and found out how they measured up against Alcoa and Maryville, and it wasn't good. But they've also had a stretch in region play where they've been able to do some things and figure some things out.
Gotcha. All right. Let me report to you the Grasshoppers, Pee Wee.
Yeah, we had Chris Clark in here a couple weeks ago talking about this, but the
Super Bowls.
Super Bowls for the youth leagues, and got a little bit of an update on that because I was curious about it because that used to be something we played either Halloween weekend or Alabama weekend. It used to conflict with one or the other.
Yeah.
And I was asking Joe Huff about this, and because of fall break and because of what a big deal fall break has become, they start youth league a week or two earlier now, and they don't put in as many bye weeks so that they can get done during right before fall break.
They're done for fall break.
So they get done earlier, which works out. I think it works out fantastic.
It does.
But anyway, give us the scores.
Here
There
they
are 3
are.
good games.
Yeah. In the Grasshopper Super Bowl, that's the youngest kids.
Smallest one, 6 and 7.
Smallest kid, 6 and 7 years old. The Maryville Little Rebs beat the WB Mini Govs, William Blount Mini Govs, 21-6 in that Super Bowl. In our Pee Wee division, which is
8-9.
8-9. Okay, thanks, Marcus. The Maryville Southerners won over the Eagleton Royals 30-7, and then our oldest. How old are the midgets?
I believe that's 10, 11, 4th, 5th grade.
Yeah. Okay. Midget Super Bowl, Maryville Rebs 31, Greenback 6. Greenback made it to the Super Bowl. Nice.
Looks like the future looks good for Maryville high school football, doesn't it?
It does, but at the same time,
it's been a good system for them, working up through those mini leagues.
But you've got William Blount on one of them, you've got Eagleton on the other, you've got Greenback as the other.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you've got – it's not where Maryville's playing Maryville type of situations.
Right.
It's there are a lot of good players. I didn't get to see a lot. I got to see a couple of highlights that were posted up there on Facebook and some other social media places. But they had – I mean, it was entertaining. It looked like it was a great afternoon to be down there because they played them all back-to-back, and Maryville hosted them at Shield Stadium. They played at several of the high school venues, which – let's give a shout out again for the artificial surface.
Yes.
That would not have happened. Always have happened because of the grass has its limitations. How many games you can play on it in a given week, but being able to play at the high school stadiums and having those venues and then having it all come together in one location at the end of the season it's just a great setup. I mean, you got to appreciate to a degree how good Parks and Rec is in the county. I don't think people realize how spoiled we are to have that kind of setup, because you don't get that just anywhere.
You're exactly right. It's very advantageous for all the schools and people that pitch in and help.
Yeah.
Sure
And
is.
while I'm saying that, I did promise a shout out when I mentioned Parks and Rec. So just a reminder, their chess league is also starting. They had the first group come through, I think, a couple weeks ago, but chess league is starting for the winter, and it goes from just learning to play the game and getting the pieces out and figuring out what they are, all the way up to advanced players. It's for kids, and it's a great setup.
Gotcha. So
Great program. You can check it out, parksandrecs.com.
So chess is a winter sport then, right?
I would mark it as a winter sport. Because, I mean, isn't that the classic movie opening? Two men sitting by the fire and stuffed armchairs playing chess.
Mm-hmm.
That it's always snowing out the window.
Sure is. Sure is. Marcus, you wanted to quickly give us what you wanted to give us about the outlook for the rest of the season.
You want to wait?
Let's do that. Let's take a break first.
Let's do the mark it down intro. Give me my full thing here.
You got it, my friend. And now I'm going to kick it over to our veteran sports writer Marcus Fitzsimmons for his feature, Mark It Down, after I tell you that you're listening to WKCE 92.5 FM and 1180 AM, Mid-Century Radio. Marcus, it's all yours.
Well, thanks, Donnie.
You're
And
welcome.
I'll kick in there that if you're just listening to us on 92.5, you have the option. We're on Facebook. We're on YouTube. We're streaming. You can watch us and see just how beautiful these three old men look on a Saturday morning. But no, what I did was I'd said this last week, and I figured I better back up my words a little bit. I said everybody has a chance to win their way into the playoffs. All 6 teams are still alive.
Yes.
They know what they've got to do the last 3 weeks, and I went through and broke it down. And everybody has the
Everybody's got a
chance
shot
to win their way into the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
So, and these are not a particular order; they're just as to who's the favorite. But I'm going to start off with the region. We have one region that's got 2 teams in it. You mentioned it with Alcoa and Heritage. So Alcoa is 7-0, 4-0. They're on top of the region standings. As thanks to Sevier County's loss, they have the state's longest active win streak at 20 consecutive. But from this point on, it's 3 successively tougher region games to the end of the season.
It is.
Now, that said, the Tornadoes have, since the win over Maryville, every game since then has ended in a mercy rule, the last 6 games. So they're rested.
They are. and their substitutes and their younger players are experienced.
They are at this point. Some of them have played about 3 or 4 games worth of varsity football at this point. So they go into the Heritage game. Here's how they finish off. They're away, home, and away. They go to Heritage, host Carter, then go to Anderson County for a Thursday night game. So starting off, you've got the Heritage game, rivalry, but you can't overlook how well Heritage played William Blunt. That, a block here, a step there, and that's a different game. And we kind of talked about that with Stan Painter last week.
Yeah.
Then you have a Carter game, which is your last regular season home game. Carter's only loss is to Anderson County. So it's going to be a tough game.
They've been playing well.
And they're playing with the chance of they get the upset, they can get to share the region title.
Sure.
Thanks to Anderson County's loss. So they're going to have a ton of
The incentive's going to be
incentive
there.
there.
Isn't it?
And it's a team that escaped Heritage. Because of that 3-point win, I'm going to give them being a little bit tougher than Heritage just because of what the scoreboard said. But it's another step. Then they've got the trip to Anderson County, which was what we circled at the beginning of the year, presumed region title game. Everything, and I think it's still going to shape up that way. That's going to decide who's the 1 seed coming out of Region 2 4A. So, same time, Heritage 3-3, 2-2. They lost. They didn't get to play that first game, so they're going to have a 9-game schedule. They are tied with Gibbs for the 4th spot, and I think it's going to come down for Heritage to that Week 10 game, that October 24th game, that they are going to have to win against Gibbs.
That'll be tough too. Gibbs is a good football team.
So here's how Heritage comes out. They're hosting Alcoa, then they travel to Gibbs and travel to Union County. So their last 2 are on the road. So
their last one won't be much of a challenge.
Well, and I'm going to take this a little bit and compare what they've got to do against who they're likely going to have to beat out, which is if you take the perspective that they're playing the 4th spot for Gibbs. One of those 2 is likely going to be a playoff team, and the other one is not.
Yeah.
So it's going to come down to when they play. That's the postseason decider, because Gibbs has on their schedule they've still got to play Fulton, which kind of matches Union County as far as a game they should win.
Yeah.
Heritage has Union County. You got to win that regular season finale, no matter what. You've got to win that one.
Exactly.
But Gibbs has still got to play. Let me see. They come back from the bye week. They've got to play. They go to Fulton. They play against Heritage, and then they end the season with Carter, which that's a big rivalry game, and anything can happen. And I would give Carter the edge there, but you basically got to even way out for Heritage. They don't have to win all 3, but you got to win 2 of the 3, and I think they're
definitely have to win 2.
So if they can get to coming out of this, with a 4-3 region record, I think they're in. So, in this region,
Right.
I love this. All 4 games are on Thursday night for Week 11. So,
Nice.
that one we'll know early on. On Friday.
Yeah.
We won't have to wait for Saturday morning for the brackets on that one. So then Eagleton, we know this one. We know they're in the playoffs. 4-team region, they're in the playoffs. Woohoo!
That's right.
But where you are, whether you're hosting or whether you're traveling, is going to be all important with Region 2 2A. Because of the way there's only 4 teams, and because most of the regions you've had 3 region games at this point total between the 4 teams. Polk County hasn't played a region game yet. So because of that, your non-conference record is what's deciding your standing. Eagleton is number 1 because they're 6-1.
Yep.
They're 1-0. They won Week 7 and got the win over Tellico Plains. So Eagleton's going to finish off with 2 on the road, and then the finale is at home. So, and 2 of those games are region games. They have a non-region game at South Green, who was the team they played the first 2 years. They were varsity, but when they were in Region 1, they've got that's going to be a huge game for them, not in terms of region standings, but that's likely one of the teams you might see in your playoffs, because you're going to be pitted up against, and even with the new formula, South Green's going to be one you're going to have to get through more than likely up there in Regional 1. But Eagleton's past the playoffs is set. It's just a matter of what they do. They go to Polk County, who hasn't played a region game, and it's kind of unknown. They're 3-4, and they finish off with 3 straight region games. Like I said, they go to South Green. Then they close with Oneida, who they have not beaten yet. They played them in non-region play twice, but they've gotten closer each time. And I think, my personal opinion, that could be the region title game. If both teams do what they're capable of doing,
I think you're right.
I think Eagleton Oneida could come into this thing both 2-0 in the region. This be the deciding game. And we'll speed up a little bit because I know Donnie's giving me scheduled. But William Blount, 5-2, 2-2 after the win over Heritage. They are tied with Knox West for the 4th spot. And you mentioned, they're going to play West this coming Friday. That's what they come out of the bye week to do. Knox West at William Blount. And I'm going to tell you that's the key. That's the one William Blount has to win.
Yep.
If they can beat this West team, I'm pretty sure they're in the playoffs. because they're going to go on the road the last two games. They got to play at Central. That would be a tough place to win.
That'll be a tough ask to win, yeah.
And you've got a Central team that came within a touchdown of beating Powell. And then they go to Campbell County to close the year. That's another case of win the one you should. But if they can go 2-1 the last 3 weeks of the season, William Blunt's in, I believe.
I think so too.
Maryville 6-1, 4-0 in the region. All you can say about this one is Maryville's toughest 2 region games are going to be its last 2 games because they're going to go and play. And this is a nice thing. They've got their last 3 at home.
Oh, nice.
Because they were on the road so much. You don't know if people realize how much they were on the road in August and September.
Yeah,
but
they were.
You get Science Hill for that non-region game. Science Hill 6-1. They beat Elizabethton, but they lost to Jeff County. So you don't know how good they really are. But in your region games, you got Bradley Central coming in week 10. They're in the playoffs, but they want to knock off Maryville and be the 1 seed.
Oh, yeah.
And then you've got Oak Ridge. And Maryville and Oak Ridge haven't played in a while. They played a lot when Maryville first moved up in classification, but haven't played in a while since then. But it's an Oak Ridge team that pulled off that 10-7 win at Bradley and escaped and got that nail biter. So this one could again be the region decider in the finale is Oak Ridge at Maryville out there on Halloween.
The only downside to that playing Oak Ridge at home is you don't get to eat at Big Ed's Pizza.
I've always wondered why they just didn't order some and have them bring it with them on the bus. I would see that being natural. Close off with Greenback, 3-4, 2-2. We didn't get a chance to mention scoreboard, but huge upset last night with Midway beating Oliver Springs.
Yeah, it was.
Really shook things up, and so Oliver Springs has a loss before they play Coalfield, which is going to be kind of opens the door because if you assume Coalfield holds serve like they have the last 3 or 4 seasons and beats Oliver Springs in that finale, Oliver Springs has 2 losses, and that opens the door for some wiggle room where Midway could actually move in to be the 2 seed. But basically, here's how the Cherokees finish off. They get Oakdale at home, and then they take 2 on the road at Coalfield and at Rockwood. So
it's always tough to play at Coalfield.
Oakdale is coming up this Friday and must win over a winless team.
Yeah.
You've got to beat the winless team and win the one you should to put yourself in position. You've got the potential. You can play Coalfield, you can pull the upset, but you don't have to beat Coalfield to get in the playoffs. And then you've got Rockwood, which is a 2-loss team. They're 4-2, 5-3, and you need to beat them to put yourself in position to have a tiebreaker over them.
Yeah.
So again, Greenback's in a position. You win 2 of your last 3, and I think you're in the playoffs. But you got to win. You got to win 2 out of those 3.
No doubt. No doubt.
So, like I said, everybody's still got a chance. They know what they got to do. I'm sure their coaches have got things circled and had it on the board for them as soon as they walk back in on Monday. So, it's going to be an exciting 3 weeks to end the season. Now, I cannot remember an October that is shaped up like this where everybody has a chance to be in contention and play a week 11.
Teams control their own destinies at this point, don't they?
They really do. And it means for exciting football where there's no game that does not matter on the schedule.
Yeah, they all matter. That's right.
They're all going to count, and they're all going to count towards something.
Sure. Good job. Thank you, Marcus. Yeah. Mike?
Yeah, I got some family breaking news here this morning. I got 2 grandkids playing fall baseball. One's 10 and one's 12. Keegan's 10 and Graham is 12, and Keegan is playing in a tournament in Rehoboth Beach, Delaware, and he's with his mother, and Graham is with his dad in Fredericksburg, Virginia, playing travel baseball this morning. And the news is that Keegan has hit a home run.
Nice.
Keegan has hit one out of the ballpark this morning, so I'm proud of him, and I hope both of them have a successful tournament this weekend. But that family's is running a little thin right there with
They
one in
sure
Delaware
are.
and one in
Wow.
Virginia this morning. So I don't know. I didn't have any of those opportunities when I was 10 and 12 years old. I had 3 blocks to go to the boys club. That's as far as I got to play my baseball.
They're running Brett and Lori ragged, aren't they?
They sure are. They sure are. But I guess it's times they'll remember those
They
trips
will.
and so
They
forth.
will be.
Hey, it's time to turn the page. Next up is the Anderson Lumber Company Player of the Week segment. You're listening to the GoTeez Sports page, and now stay tuned for the best in local sports.
The Roger L. Newman Company began in 1984 with a vision of providing Blount County with excellent heating and cooling service. Mr. Newman also wanted a real business. No gimmicks and no high-pressure sales. They just fix it or replace it. They want to stay within your budget and make you comfortable. Their motto still stands true today. Call us first, we'll be there. Call Roger L. Newman Company at 982-5446 or visit online at rogerlnewman.com. Cooler temperatures are approaching. Upgrade your furnace now for as little as $50 a month. For over 50 years and 3 generations, the people of Blount County have trusted Stevenson Tire with their vehicles and their families. Our mission has always been simple: to provide quality products at reasonable prices with exceptional customer service. Featuring tire products from Michelin, BF Goodrich, Uniroyal, Bridgestone, Firestone, and Yokohama, Stevenson Tire also offers alignment and brake services at affordable prices. Stevenson Tire Company, 2411 East Broadway Avenue in Maryville. Call 983-1621 or online at stevensontire.net. For over 90 years.
Welcome back to the Bluetick Tavern in downtown Maryville. This is Mike Edwards along with the rest of our broadcast crew. And now it's time for the GoTeez Sports Page Player of the Week segment featuring Daily Times senior reporter Marcus Fitzsimmons, sponsored by Anderson Lumber Company, where quality service is always a priority, proudly serving Blount County for over 100 years. Marcus, going to be talking a little bit cross-country. Cross-country this morning.
I am.
One of the most grueling sports that there is out there.
Well, like their T-shirts say,
Yeah.
their practice is everybody else's punishment.
Like I said, I went out for cross-country one time, and I was there for one day. It took me one day to go get my football uniform and get on the football field. Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, Coach Pam Haggard has joined us.
Great.
She has given up her fall break Saturday to come hang with us and talk a little bit about the team.
What dedication.
Yeah.
I'm always proud to talk about them.
And, you know, the runners came through. They breezed through so fast we didn't even see them. they were off the start line and gone. But Coach, we appreciate you coming in.
Running up and down Broadway.
And I'm going to say I was kidding a little bit, but you all took advantage of fall break because you went back out to the state course, right?
We sure did. We
and
did.
took a meet out there last weekend.
We did. We did.
So how did you all finish, and then we'll talk about the course.
Gotcha. So we only took most of our boys varsity team. Again, since it was fall break and a lot of the kids have family commitments, we didn't have the whole team together to take the trip. But all the boys that could and wanted to went down there. We actually took one girl. She was able to go. She just ran as an individual. And then the 6 of our top 7 boys got to compete down there. So they really went just to get a chance to see what the new course is like, because none of them had ever run on it. And this is going to be our state course now for the next 2 years. So we went down, not planning to be one of the top teams, but we still fared fairly well. We got some PRs out of that group. I think 2 of them ran their best times ever on Saturday. But most importantly, they got a chance to see what the course was like and get a feel for it.
So their fall break was y'all keep on running.
Yes.
Okay. So where is the meet now, and what course is it?
Okay, it's Shelby Farms Park in Memphis, and actually that was my first trip to Shelby Farms Park. So it is a fabulous large park there in Memphis that just a small part of it has been designated a cross-country course. But it's a double loop course, which is what they've been used to for state meets, but a little bit different and something they're not familiar with.
What are we talking about terrain-wise? Is it fairly flat, or is it rolling hills, or has it got like a monster in there somewhere?
It's fairly flat. After the race, I was having the kids describe it to me because I didn't get a chance to walk it or jog it ahead of time. And they said, it's not really rolling. It's just like there's bumps on it. So I went back Sunday morning and walked it myself just to get a feel for it. And they were kind of right. It's not necessarily rolling hills, but just some bumps and some ups and some quick ups and downs, but generally flat. And the finish is a little bit downhill. So it was definitely a fast finish. And it was quite a competitive race last Saturday. There were some fast times. I saw people, and a few people wiping out in the end, just going, all out, hard finishes. Thankfully, none of ours, but some kids just really, really strong finishes on that course.
So it sounds like this may be a course that's set up for the perfect season enders, where you've got a good PR chance, even no matter how you place.
Possibly, yeah. I don't think it's as fast as some of the courses we have, but it's definitely, I think we're going to see faster times than we have seen on our regional meet at Victor Ashe. I'm not sure how it's going to compare to Hendersonville. That's where we've had the state meet the last few years.
And I kind of liked Hendersonville, just because it had that, it had hills in it. Mm-hmm. And it also had some good straightaways, and that it had a good part of that course that wasn't really a trail, that was actually going through. You were following cones through a field, which I like. I don't particularly like the beaten trail so much, because by the time you get to the third race or the sixth race, depending on how you count them, it's just trail of dust.
Yeah, and Shelby Farms definitely is not trail dust. There's a lot of grass. There's not a rut and even at Victor Ashe, there's kind of some places where it's very worn. And this trail is not like that, at least not right now.
Okay. But that's going to, we're not going to make presumptions, but you got to win to get back there.
Yes.
So let's talk with the boys. Everybody got shuffled around again with this,
yes.
And then the classification changes that have come through. And didn't we add a class for cross country this year?
Yes, single A and double A had been together as one class, and now they are separate.
So Alcoa is 2A?
Yes.
So how does that shape up for a region, and how far away are we from that meet?
So everything is a lot different. The difference in single and double isn't going to really affect us very much. There weren't a lot of single A teams ever being competitive with us, so that doesn't really matter this season. The bigger difference is the change from regions to sections. So we've now been moved to Section 2. We've competed our regional meet at Victor Ashe for every year since I've for 15 years. Now we're in Section 2, so we go to Chattanooga for the first time for our section meet. And unfortunately, Signal Mountain's down there, and they've been a top cross-country team for many, many years. So we've been fortunate enough to be the region champs up here. I think 9 out of the last 10 times, or boys and girls combined. So we're looking at going down there and having to compete against them, which is tough. However, we still look pretty good. Top 4 teams will go to state. Our boys are pretty solid, seated second right now, and the girls third. I think Anderson County, who's 4th, is going to probably put up a fight, but we just have to be top 4 to make it. So I'm feeling pretty good about both teams being able to advance to state.
So that Chattanooga race is that the same course Maryville's been running on the last few years?
I think so.
Okay.
I'm not sure if the single, double, and triple were competing in the same place or not. I know wherever the single and double were competing, it's been a fast course, because I've always felt like it's been to our advantage to race at Victor Ashe and kind of come into state with times that might look slower, but us be a stronger team than we looked on paper, and I felt like that's been an advantage for us for years. And this year, it looks like we're going to be competing on that faster course, so I don't think we're going to have that advantage going into state.
So if you kind of break it down, but you got your boys are in good position. Who's kind of standing out in this group right now? Who's kind of taking over as the leader on this group?
So Baker Brooks has been our standout boy all season. He was last season as well. He's just a sophomore. He started last season. It took him a few races in to kind of claim that top spot, but once he did, he hasn't looked back. He ran a PR he was one that did at the course in Memphis the other night. He's running strong. He's getting down, and he got under 16:30. He's hoping to, even take a little time off that in the next few meets. So, and he's poised to do that.
So who kind of round out that top group of 5 or 6 that you're kind of looking at?
Sure. So Graham Mizell is next. He's been our second place runner, and he's usually right there, not too far behind Baker. And then after him, I've got Dalton Ramsey, Braylon Hawkins, and then Campbell Mizell. And those 3 are pretty tight. I'm not ever sure who's going to finish next, but they take the 3rd, 4th, and 5th spot. So they're a strong top 5.
And then for your girls, how do they kind of look at I mean, you've had some really strong runners come through in the last few years. Do you have another one that's lined up already?
Right now, Riley Harris, she is a sophomore also. She's been our top girl most of the season. Eliza Reynolds, who's a senior, and she's been on the team now for 4 years. Her and Riley train together well and kind of compete. I think Riley's taken her a few more races than Eliza's won, but they competed at Cove Lake last week, and Eliza took that top spot. And the girls' team won that meet. It was a smaller meet, but they all performed really well last Thursday. And then Sophie Mize is she's either our 3rd or 4th, depending on the day. She decided she wanted to run in Memphis and check out the course, so she missed the meet at Cove Lake. So even not running our top girls, they still were able to finish first at the Cove Lake meet.
Okay, so here's the big question. We're not going to ask you about Alcoa and not having a track. We cover that ground all the time. But for cross-country runners, because the sport has changed so much where you're not running across the golf courses so much and you're not running road races so much, how do you practice that in Alcoa? Like, are the kids running on streets, on sidewalks, or have you found a place for them to run across open field somewhere out there?
So we mostly train on the sidewalks and greenways, but we do have the advantage of having Springbrook Park, and there is enough open grassy area there in Springbrook that we've made a course, and so we do a lot of speed work and hill work there in the park. So that's been our best opportunity to get the kids on the grass and have some experience.
As a coach, do you have I remember our coach had the punishment practices that he had particular things in mind when we didn't do well or were sassy. Not that teenagers are ever sassy.
Right.
No.
Right.
Is there a punishment type course in Coach Haggard's portfolio?
Not per se. They do not like running the grass loop at the park. We call it the circle grass loop. We've just given it a name, and they don't like it when I tell them that's where we're meeting. So I guess that's what they would say, but I don't do it as a punishment. I do it because it's good for them. That's what they need to do. So, but that's a place I think they do not enjoy running.
Okay. Well, do you use that as a threat? Like, is it one of those things where you can, like if you see somebody,
not a threat, but an advantage.
An advantage. No, it's all about how you frame things.
Well, we had our coach taught one of the early morning alternate classes at 7 a.m. and he made a point of dropping. We might run wagon wheel today. And let you worry about it all day long.
No, they just know which days are the workout days where we have speed, and they know I will not tell them what the workout's going to be until we're done stretching and doing our drills. Then I tell them, here's what we're going to do today. So they tell me they just dread the days that we do speed because they never know what it's going to be.
Okay, so have we missed county, or is county championship still coming up?
County championships are still coming up. They are Thursday night.
Thursday night.
Thursday night.
It's just fortunate we had the timing to get cross country on right before, right?
Right, yes.
So where is it going to be, and who's going to be in charge this year?
It's going to be at Maryville College, and Heritage's coach, Alex, he has taken the reins on that. He's the meet director, so that's where we're going to be. I think he's doing middle school races that night as well, but we've got that coming up.
Good.
Now, is that the course that does the stairs?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Always fun. But they don't run through the woods anymore, do they?
They do a little bit. Yeah, they do. They changed the course slightly from last year. The start is the same. It starts in the big grassy field kind of there beside.
By the Mountain Challenge.
Yes. And then they do go back into the woods, and it's a double loop now as well.
Okay. See, I remember one of my favorite races was at Maryville College, and it was when we used to run. The course used to go out to RT Lodge, and then circle off to the left through the woods not on a path. You just followed the stakes, and you came back out down close to where the soccer fields are now, and had a long straightaway back up to the picnic pavilion. And we had 3 guys they were kind of like Mike. They were running because they were told they had to run for another sport. So they were always the last 3. Not only on our team, they were generally the last 3 at every meet that everybody was waiting on. Well, they'd taken the stakes down on the last turn because they didn't realize those 3 were still out there. So they missed the turn and actually went straight and came out of those woods the fastest we had ever seen them running. And they were smacking themselves and screaming. And we thought they'd gone crazy in the woods. They had missed that turn and run over a yellow jacket nest in the woods. No. They were running an 11-second 100 meters, the last 100 meters, smacking themselves in the head, and got to the finish line and brought all those yellow jackets with them. It was pandalirium or even worse.
I bet it was.
That sounds horrible. We have not had that experience, thankfully, and I hope we don't.
I hope you don't either. But we do appreciate you coming in to visit, and so. With the general challenge, if, we love trophies. So if you can convince them to run a little bit harder, a little bit faster, we'd love to have them come back with, a region or state championship trophy.
I would love it too.
Because it looks really good right here on the table at Bluetick when you put it up here.
They look good in my office.
It would, wouldn't it?
Absolutely.
But we appreciate getting up and coming to visit with us this morning.
Thank you.
Mike, I think we'll go ahead and take a break.
Marcus, I'll try to get you out of here, but the thought of cross country makes me short of breath. I can tell you that right now. Hey, it's time for a break, and when we return, it's the Boyd Sports Spotlight. You're listening to the GoTeez Sports page, and now stay tuned for the best in local sports. Thank you.
Anderson Lumber Company in Alcoa has proudly served and supported our local communities. Locally owned, so the money made here stays here. Whether you're renovating a kitchen, bath, new floors, doors, or windows, Anderson Lumber is so much more than a lumber store and can take care of you from design to install. We welcome you to visit Anderson Lumber in Alcoa for all your home's needs, or shop over 67,000 items online at AndersonLumberCompany.com. Anderson Lumber since 1925. Aubrey's is known for real comfort, real food, real good. But remember, Aubrey's is also really into Blount County. Aubrey's Maryville has been a strong supporter of local schools and sports programs for more than 15 years. From baseball to football, dance teams, and marching bands, Aubrey's has helped schools and youth programs generate thousands of dollars. It's easy for us to do because it's the right thing to do. So the next time you're looking to choose a place to eat, we hope you'll choose Aubrey's. Real comfort, real food, real good. See what's on the menu at aubreysrestaurants.com.
Welcome back to the Bluetick Tavern in downtown Maryville. This is Mike Edwards, and it's time for the Boyd Sports Spotlight segment. Donnie Moore, what an exciting time of the year it is. Major League Baseball is going full swing. We got a great weekend of college football, and we got great fall weather out there, and life is good.
No question about that, Mike. Life is good. And with that, let's jump into our sports headlines, brought to you, as always, by our friends at Fast Signs. So we'll jump into these. Quarterback Jackson Dart played by far the best game of his career, and rookie running back Cam Scattaboo, that's a name for you, Cam Scattaboo, scored 3 short yardage touchdowns as the New York Football Giants bested the reigning NFL champions, Philadelphia Eagles, on Thursday Night Football, 34-17.
That was ugly.
It was ugly.
Nothing
went right for the Eagles.
I watched that game, and I've heard people talk about feeling Philadelphia was imploding a little bit. They looked like an imploding team.
They did.
They looked like a team that didn't know what their identity was.
I agree. Dart finished 17 for 25 for 195 yards and 1 score, and added 13 carries for 58 yards and an additional touchdown. Scattaboo had 110 yards rushing with the 3 scores. He's a tough guy. And he doesn't care to stick his nose into any pile or whatever is going on. I mean, he can take a hit, keep on ticking. The legendary Loyola Chicago basketball chaplain Dolores Bertha Schmidt, affectionately known as Sister Jean, passed away Thursday at the age of 106. Wow.
And a bunch of people in Knoxville said it's about time. Not to be mean, but it's to be mean.
Yeah,
I mean, she was Sister Jean was the one who was there when they ran to the Final Four, and that path to the Final Four included upsetting Tennessee.
Right.
Schmidt served the students of Loyola Chicago University for 60-plus years, retiring just last month. Like Marcus said, she was courtside when the Ramblers, seated 11th, made their historic 2018 run to the Final Four in San Antonio. Rest in peace, Sister Jean. Yeah. Here's a look at what's happening in the Major League Baseball playoffs. In the American League Division Series, the Blue Jays head to the championship series by eliminating the Yankees 3-1. And they await the Seattle Mariners in the ALCS. The Dodgers put the Phillies out of commission 3-1 to advance to the National League Championship Series and will face the Cubs versus Brewers winner. First pitch tonight at 8:08 p.m. for Cubs and Brewers.
Now, do the Cubs have to win 3 straight now?
The Cubs have won 2 straight. They won 2 straight at home.
Yes.
After Seattle, or not Seattle, but Milwaukee won 2 in Milwaukee. So they go back to Milwaukee, and like we said there in the start of the show, the home field has really been a factor
it's
so
been
far
great.
in these
Yeah,
playoffs.
sure has.
So
Sure has been.
Cubs have got their work cut out for them tonight. This is a very fine Milwaukee Brewer team.
It really is.
Yeah, they've sort of been in a tough deal for the Cubs. Playing the Brewers. They've
they
sort
sure
of
they
been their Achilles heel for the most part.
You got to play the best of the best. I mean,
well, that's what playoffs are all about.
You play the Brewers or the Dodgers. I'd rather play the Brewers and at least have it where my fans could go and, if they wanted to, drive over and support me in the other part.
No kidding. Yeah. Well, Florida State University freshman linebacker Ethan Pritchard was released Thursday from Tallahassee Memorial Hospital, marking a major milestone in his recovery from an August 31st shooting. He's set to continue his recovery and rehab in a rehab facility and is, quote, alert, responsive, and able to communicate, per a FSU statement. One day after the Seminoles' win over Alabama in Week 1, Pritchard was shot in the back of the head while driving family members home from a gathering. 3 men and a juvenile have been arrested and charged with the heinous crime. Yeah. Former NBA star Paul Pierce was arrested Tuesday night on suspicion of DUI after being found asleep behind the wheel on a Los Angeles highway, per the California Highway Patrol. When officers approached Pierce's Range Rover, they saw him asleep at the wheel and observed signs of alcohol impairment. So he's facing some.
Just exactly what
charges.
Signs do you exhibit when you're passed out?
I'm not real sure. They smelled it probably.
I mean, did he have a beer in his hand?
It's a good question. Good question. But anyway, he's spent a little time in holding, shall we say. On this day in sports, October 11th, 1911, Mike, going back to 1911, Ty Cobb and Frank Schulte are the inaugural Major League Baseball MVPs. Ty Cobb from the American League, Schulte from the National. Their prize that they won for being chosen as MVPs was a car. Probably a 1911 model.
Yeah.
Might have been a Model T Ford. Who knows?
Be worth something today.
Yes, sir, it would. Yeah. 1967, World Series record 3 consecutive home runs in the same game by Carl Yastrzemski, Reggie Smith, and Rico Petrocelli in the Boston 8, St. Louis 4 win. Yeah. The 2015 President's Cup Golf. Zach Johnson and Phil Mickelson go unbeaten, and the U.S. wins for the 6th consecutive time over the international team. 2020 on today's date, British driver Lewis Hamilton wins at Nürburgring and ties Michael Schumacher's record of 91 Formula One wins. Great driver.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, absolutely. Birthdays on today's date, October 11th, 1961. Steve Young, born on this day, quarterback of the San Francisco 49ers. Born in Salt Lake City, Utah. He is 63 years of age. Happy birthday, Steve.
You're going to catch up with me one of these days.
Yeah, no
Not
kidding.
careful.
1989, born on this day, Michelle Wie won the U.S. Open in 2014. Born in Honolulu, Hawaii. She's 35 years old.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
She was out there playing when she was, what, 15?
Yeah, I mean, it seemed like yesterday. 1994, born on this day, T.J. Watt of the Steelers. Great outside pass rusher. Born in Pewaukee, Wisconsin. They got a Milwaukee and a Pewaukee.
The
31 years old.
logos are much different.
I'm sure they are. Also born on this day, this is a special birthday to me, 2005, my grandson, Caden Jackson, born on this day. He is 20 years old today. Happy birthday, Caden.
Yeah.
Don't you hate it when Grandpa embarrasses you like that?
Yeah, I know. That's he won't mind, though. Deaths on this day, 1986. Norm Cash died, Detroit first baseman, American League batting champ in 1961. Died of a drowning at the age of 51. Yeah, that's unusual. And 2020 died on this day, Joe Morgan. That's another name we all know.
Second baseman.
Hall of Fame infielder, second baseman. National League Most Valuable Player in 1975 for the Reds. Died at the age of 77 in 2020.
Part of the Big Red Machine.
Indeed, he was.
Yeah, had a good cast to go with it.
Goodness, yes, he had a lot of backup right
Yeah,
there.
the Big Red Machine.
Oh goodness. Well, that's all for this week's sports headline segment. Brought to you as always by Fast Signs. Whoosh. I'm Donnie Moore. Back to you, Gunner.
Hey, I am Mike Edwards, and I'm here with Donnie Moore, Blount County Sports Hall of Famer, and longtime sports writer Marcus Fitzsimmons. And Marcus, I was looking at the toughest games remaining on Tennessee ball's schedule after last week coming into this week, and I've got Alabama still up there at the top. They're number 8, and Oklahoma is second on my list. Florida jumped up to third with their win over Texas. Vandy is now in the 4th position, and I've got Arkansas, whom the Vols play today, in the number 5 position at 2 and 3 and unranked. Vandy number 20. Alabama today is out at Missouri. Oklahoma has Texas. And, those two games right there are big for those two teams, and they're also big for Tennessee because you'd like both of those teams to be ranked when the Vols go in there, because there's not many that's going to be ranked, in this second half of the season.
Nope.
Margaret?
No. You want them to be respectable and to be a good game as far as your index goes. But so much depends on when you're playing this team and what their state is, and regardless of where they're ranked, you can kind of look at teams and feel if they're rolling or retreating. So what you ideally want is somebody who's ranked high but isn't playing well.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
What you don't want is a team like Vanderbilt, which may be underrated and playing really well.
Not ranked at the time. Maybe
Yeah.
when they're not ranked when they get to us. So.
It means a lot more if you beat Vanderbilt when they're ranked and not having a good game than when they're unranked and play the game of the season.
Exactly. Looking at the SEC games today, and I'm telling you, it's a really good schedule. Number 8 Alabama, as we mentioned, is at Missouri. They're a 3.5-point favorite, and that game's at 12 o'clock on ABC. That's a real early game out there, isn't it, Marcus? That'd be 11 o'clock start out there in Missouri. I guess it would be. I think they're an hour behind out there.
They're in Central Time.
Yeah, 11 o'clock start. So huge game for Alabama since they've got Tennessee coming up, and a big game for Missouri since they're 5-0, and this is one of their big tests to see where that Tiger football team is this particular time. So,
I still feel like Missouri is the underdog of the SEC that's going under the radar, that's playing really well.
They are.
But hasn't made enough noise that people are scared of them yet, but I think they should be.
Yeah.
I really just feel like Missouri's got something going on and is just cruising a little bit.
Yeah, they can beat you.
Their schedule hasn't given them the chance, I don't think, yet, but I feel like they're going to bite somebody really badly.
Maul somebody.
Maul somebody,
Tiger
sure.
Maul.
We can go with Tiger Maul.
And the Alabama
But
fans are hoping it's
I'm
not
actually a
them
fan
today.
of SEC roll call where they're wearing the Darth Vader uniform this year. I just have that feeling about them.
Yeah, well, they're pretty tough at home. You can ask Tennessee that. Remember, we went out there a couple of years ago, and
We sure
we
did.
didn't fare very well out there.
Ooh.
Hey, Oklahoma, number 6, 5-0, got their quarterback back today, Mateer, and they're in that Red River showdown with Texas.
Yeah.
Texas 3-2, and they've got Texas as a 1.5-point favorite, and that game is the prime game at 3:30 on ABC.
Is that one being played at Jerry's place or is it on campus?
No, I think that's at a neutral field, isn't it? Where they got the.
It may be.
I think
I don't know.
It's not a home game. Texas may be the home team, but I don't think it's a home game.
Yeah.
It's kind of a neutral deal down there.
Hmm.
Usually
That's
they got the fair going on. Wherever that fair's at.
That's
Ferris
going to be
wheels.
such a tough game. That's just going to be.
Oh,
that's going to say so much either way.
Yeah, there's so much pressure on both these teams. Oklahoma trying to stay up there in the top 5 or 6 in the country, and Texas, after losing to Florida and Ohio State, they lose today. They're out of the playoff picture for good. 3 losses is going to be really tough to get back in there.
You put the end on Texas's season and put them in ReliaQuest range if they lose. But for Oklahoma, I mean, this is the chance to solidify themselves. I mean, you can be a top 10 team and not be a front runner in the conference, but this puts you in contention to say we're going to play with the top 3. We're going to play in that top 3.
Yep. Well, if I'm Tennessee and I'm rooting for Oklahoma today, Donnie. I'm rooting for them. I want them to come into Knoxville without any losses when they play Tennessee, because when it comes to the playoffs, you got to have some wins against some ranked teams.
Got to have some points.
This is one of them to make a big point if the Sooners can keep that slate
definitely
undefeated. Hey, Florida. Speaking of pressures at Texas A&M, and the Aggies are rolling at 5-0. They're a 7.5-point favorite. That game's at 7 o'clock on ESPN. And Florida is coming off the big win at home against Texas, and they had a pretty good game the week before, I believe, at LSU. They played the Tigers pretty tough down there in the stadium. This is a fairly talented Florida team that has run into some pretty stiff competition here early, but A&M better take them for what they are, a pretty solid and a team that's got quite a bit of ability, or they're going to find themselves on the short end of the stick. This is a dangerous Florida team.
It is,
Marcus.
and what you need to do if you're the Aggies defense is you throw out all the tape that existed before last week.
Right.
Because you saw the emergence of Florida's offense and what it could have been all season with the receiver on the field. And his name's escaped me this morning, but
I know you're talking
the difference he made in that game and what it let Florida do and the way it let Florida play, if they can keep that going. Now, obviously, teams have seen him now. They're going to scheme. They're going to have him on the radar, scheme against him. But Florida looked like a completely different team with him as an option in the passing game.
Yeah, they did.
It set up so much for the run. It gave their quarterback options. They became much harder to stop, and when it became much harder to stop, their defense got a chance to sit down for a little while.
Yep. This is another, I know as much as Tennessee fans dislike Florida, this is another game where you're kind of rooting for Florida, because if Florida wins, they would have the Texas win, they'd have a Texas A&M win, a couple ranked teams right there. It's only going to help Tennessee for Florida win this football game.
Your other incentive is it knocks A&M down.
Yeah.
In that conference standings race. So
yeah. Hey, Georgia, ranked number 10 in the country, is at Auburn, and Auburn is another one of these teams that they've really played just good enough to get beat. Pretty much, they've lost close games, and Auburn's 3-2. That's a 7:30 game on ABC. Georgia comes into the contest as a 4-point favorite. Donnie, not much leeway there for the Dogs on the road. So this is a game to watch today too.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It is. Georgia needs to win this one.
Yeah.
Georgia's got to stay. If Georgia's going to stay as a contender, they got to win.
Yeah.
And your problem is how long has it been since Georgia's had a good game against Auburn?
Yeah.
Well, I don't remember one in recent memory.
What would scare me is
Georgia has not played well against Auburn in 3 or 4 or 5 years. It's just been a continual slugfest. Even when they were up by 3 scores, it was one of those slugging it out sort of deals.
Yeah.
And this Auburn team, those 2 losses have been close losses. You know, this Auburn team could be 5-0 right now,
easily
coming into this game. So they're a much improved football team. So I think Georgia's got their hands full down there. They're on upset alert down there with me today. South Carolina at 3-2 and 1-2 in the league is at the number 11 LSU for a night game. They're in Baton Rouge, a 7:45 start on the SEC network, and the Tigers are a 8.5-point favorite. This is an interesting matchup, Marcus. South Carolina kind of put things together there a week or so ago, and LSU, they're at home with only the 1 loss. LSU fighting to stay in the playoff picture. South Carolina basically they've got to win out, which is going to be very difficult because their schedule is just horrendous. Horrendous schedule. Next to Florida is probably the 2 toughest schedules in the SEC.
Well, remember what I just said about you don't want the team that's undervalued in the rankings but can play really well. I mean, that's what South Carolina can be. It depends on which Gamecocks team shows up. Regardless of it, though, a night game in Death Valley, I mean, that's just with South Carolina. You just hope there's still a city standing in the morning.
No, you're better to play a day game in LSU because those people would have to start drinking at 6 o'clock in the morning. But, if you give them a night game, you're going to have a bunch of polluted people in that stadium, and they're wild anyway, Donnie, without hitting the bottle. They're still pretty wild down there in Baton Rouge. But
for sure, those Cajuns.
South Carolina is playing better, and I don't know. I just think this is one of the better SEC slates today that we've had.
There are some good games today.
I mean, normally you have 2 or 3. I know Washington State is 3-2, and they're a big underdog at number 4 Ole Miss today. And that game's on the SEC network. I think Ole Miss is a 32.5 point favorite.
I think they're still technically the Pac-12 leader.
Yeah, but there's only about 2 teams or 3 teams out there right now.
That doesn't change.
They're not.
That doesn't change the moniker, Mike. They're still.
Yeah.
They're still one of
that
the top.
That sounds good.
They're still one of the best teams in the Pac-12.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that league will be in full force there next year. Arkansas at Tennessee today. We didn't pick a winner, Donnie. Who do you like?
I'm going to pick the Vols.
You pick them to cover too?
What's the line?
10.
Yeah, I think they will.
Marcus?
Do we have to ask me?
Yeah, I'm asking you.
You know what I'm going to say.
Come on there, Rain Cloud. Tell us what you're going to ask. What do you think? Huh?
Well, I know I'd like the Vols to win, but, I just can't say that. I'm going with it.
You're going with Arkansas today?
I'm going with Arkansas. Bobby Petrino magic. I don't know if he's going to ride out in the field on a motorcycle or what, but I see Arkansas putting Tennessee in a difficult situation and pulling this out.
I think Tennessee wins the football game today, and I'm going to say they're going to cover. I think it might be. I think Arkansas might hang around for a while, but I think that Tennessee will win going away, maybe in the second half.
Yeah,
something tells me that.
If they get out early and get a lead.
As I said earlier, I am a little bit worried about Tennessee and their preparation, not really knowing what they're going to get with Petrino taking over down there and him having 2 weeks to prepare to get this team ready mentally and physically. And I think with Arkansas, it's been more of a mental deal than it's been a physical deal at this point. I think they've got some talent on that football team.
I do too.
So it'll be interesting to see what happens there at 4:15 today. But a great schedule today in the SEC. Let's take a few minutes here to look at the SEC standings. Ole Miss is 5-0. 3-0 in the league. Texas A&M is 5-0 and 2-0 in the league. Alabama is 4-1, 2-0 in the league. Missouri's 5-0 overall, 1-0 in the league, and Oklahoma's 5-0 and 1-0 in the league. I guess maybe Missouri the only surprise there in the top 5, maybe.
Yeah, to a certain extent, I would agree with that.
That's why I say they're the Darth Vader.
They're dangerous.
They haven't played that signature game yet,
No.
but they're going to get their chance today.
Yeah, there's
And
go ahead.
So they're playing. They get the chance to have that signature, and next week, imagine this: the Tigers win today. Next week, we're talking about them. Are they real or not? As a contender for the SEC title.
There's no Florida in there in the top 5. There's no Georgia in the of course, it's awful early. There's no Florida. There's no Georgia.
No Tennessee.
And no Tennessee.
Yeah.
They're in that top 5 right now. Of course, that can all change.
That can change.
That can change pretty quickly.
Sure can.
In the national standings, top 12. How are we on time, Donnie?
We need to take a break.
Oh, we need to take a break.
Yeah, it's about that time.
Here I am going. Well, we'll
Sorry,
come
we'll
back.
come- we'll come back
We'll
to
come
it.
back. We'll come back and talk. Hey, it's time for a break, and when we come back, we'll talk some more college football. You're listening to the GoTeez Sports Page, and now stay tuned for the best in local sports.
The Roger L. Newman Company began in 1984 with a vision of providing Blount County with excellent heating and cooling service. Mr. Newman also wanted a real business. No gimmicks and no high-pressure sales. They just fix it or replace it. They want to stay within your budget and make you comfortable. Their motto still stands true today. Call us first, we'll be there. Call Roger L. Newman Company at 982-5446 or visit online at rogerlnewman.com. Cooler temperatures are approaching. Upgrade your furnace now for as little as $50 a month. For over 50 years and 3 generations, the people of Blount County have trusted Stevenson Tire with their vehicles and their families. Our mission has always been simple: to provide quality products at reasonable prices with exceptional customer service. Featuring tire products from Michelin, BF Goodrich, Uniroyal, Bridgestone, Firestone, and Yokohama, Stevenson Tire also offers alignment and brake services at affordable prices. Stevenson Tire Company, 2411 East Broadway Avenue in Maryville. Call 983-1621 or online at stevensontire.net.
Welcome back to the Bluetick Tavern in downtown Maryville. This is Mike Edwards, and I'm here with Donnie Moore and Marcus Fitzsimmons. And there's a big game on the national scene today out in Oregon. Number 3 Oregon takes on number 7 Indiana. Both of those teams are 5-0, and Oregon comes in a 7-point favorite, and it's at 3:30. Their prime game on CBS, and by golly, they got game day out there. And I was watching there this morning. It was 4 o'clock in the morning out there.
Oh, man.
Pretty good group of Oregon fans out there.
And people, when people wonder why game day doesn't typically do West Coast games, that's why.
That's why.
Because their programming schedule it's 3 hours before people are moving out there.
Yeah.
We're going on the air at 8 a.m. That's 5 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
You know how hard it is to get – I mean, granted, they've got the option to just stay up all night, and that's probably what some of them do. But, it feels like we've been hyping this game for like 2 weeks for some reason.
Yeah, I was so excited last week that I got a week ahead. I was telling everybody it was on TV last week, and I'm sure everybody was looking at their channel guide to see where it was at, but it wasn't on there.
That's true.
We were a week ahead.
Yeah.
But, that's okay. That's okay. Indiana, Donnie, they got to come all the way across the country to play Oregon out there, and Oregon's they always got the high-powered offense, and they got the different uniforms, hard place to play. And Indiana, I can't tell you what a huge game this is for the Hoosiers because they don't have Ohio State and Michigan on their schedule this year.
Right. This is their signature game.
Listen, this could be one punch into the playoff ticket.
Yeah.
if Indiana was to go out there and pull the upset at Oregon today. I know they go to Penn State and play, and you know that's going to be a game to be reckoned with. But after that, you know it's pretty smooth sailing for the most part for the Hoosiers as far as the Big Ten competition. But,
sure is. I mean, this is the game of the year.
Yeah, and
for the Hoosiers.
Yeah, and they're trying to. They made the playoffs last year, but they're trying to make that. Signetti, the coach up there, what a tremendous job he's done, and I'm thrilled that he's done it because he came from James Madison, and you know he's worked his way up to get to that level. But my golly, I never expected them to make the jump. Yeah, I knew they were going to be maybe a little bit better, but to be as good as they've been, I think has been a real surprise based on their past.
They've had a drastic improvement this year.
They really have. And
good football team.
He's got that offense that can score a lot of points, and I'm looking for a lot of points to be on the board today with Indiana's offense and Oregon's offense.
Yeah,
it may come down to who's got the ball last, Marcus.
It really could, and I think that'd be really entertaining.
It would definitely.
You know, just seeing what they were able to do against Illinois with as far as Indiana goes, you know they can put up a lot of points, and it's. Not many teams are willing to go into Oregon and say, you know what, let's see what we can do. Let's trade punches and see who's more efficient. And that could be an interesting way to go in and challenge Oregon, not to try to stop them, but to just say, we're just going to play fast and see if we can outscore you. Yeah. I think that'd be an entertaining game, and we might see 1,500 yards of offense before the night's over.
The Hoosiers have had 2 weeks to prepare. You know, they were off last week.
Right, off last week.
They had a tough go up at Iowa.
Yeah.
There a couple of weeks ago, but they came out. I don't know how the travel's going to affect them. You know, that's a long trip, you know, from Indiana all the way out to Oregon to play. But we'll see. We'll see. Number 15, Michigan, is at Southern California. Both of those teams are 4-1. Southern California is a 2.5-point favorite. That game's at 7:30 on NBC. Marcus, that sounds like a Rose Bowl game right there.
That's exactly what I was thinking. I was like, did I miss?
It really does.
Did the calendar move? Is it January already?
Yeah. Where's Bo Schembechler? He going to be out there today? I don't know, but it does. And those are two teams right there that are still, you know, in the playoff hunt. Southern Cal's got to go to Notre Dame. They've got some teams left on their schedule that can help them, and then you know that Michigan, you know, they're always thinking of playoffs, and so huge game for both of those teams. Ohio State, number 1, they're 5-0, and 14.5-point favorite today at number 17 Illinois. Illinois is 5-1. Illinois had a good comeback win. Their last week game today is at 12 o'clock on Fox. Of course, Illinois got pounded by Indiana.
They did, yeah.
But you know, they've kind of regrouped, and we'll see. We'll see what Illinois team comes out today against Ohio State up in Champaign. What do you think? What do you think about the Big Ten, Marcus, and the SEC this year? How do they compare, or do they compare? Or are the SEC just really pretty much ahead of the Big Ten?
Well, you know, it's the same old story. Overall, you feel the SEC is just a better product. It's a more entertaining product. The games tend to be more exciting.
Tougher from top to bottom?
I'm not saying on the general level. There's some good. The Big Ten gives us maybe one really good game a week. Maybe some weekends we're getting 2. But you just don't feel like the overall quality is there. But then come the playoffs, it's Ohio State's going to be in the championship game, and you just hope the SEC team can beat them.
When you look at the Big Ten, Donnie, you just sort of think of Ohio State, Penn State, Michigan.
Yeah.
And now you got an Indiana kind of thrown in
exactly.
there that they said, hey, we want to kind of be a part of this party now too.
We want to come to the party.
It's basically been a 3-team league.
It has.
Pretty much.
But in saying that, you know, you discount Oregon and USC immediately.
Yeah.
Now, USC you can say because of their recent past, that's okay. But with Oregon, it should be in that conversation. But it's that thing that that detracts from the Big Ten for me, and it's the same problem with the ACC. It's hard to field a rivalry when you've got teams that are playing across the country from each other in conference games. You know?
Yeah.
I want to get your guys' opinion on something. You remember our old friend Lon Hersburn used to say that the biggest advantage that the SEC has on the other leagues is defensive speed on defense.
Yeah.
Do you think that's still good today?
I think they're catching up.
I think
they
so
may
too.
not quite be there. They're talking about. I'm talking about speed on defense and offense
Right.
with receivers and everything. And I think at one time when Lonnie made that comment, I think it was solid.
I
think
do
that was a
too.
solid
Yeah.
comment. But I think that the Big Ten and some of these other conferences have caught up.
Yeah.
I don't know if they have on with defensive speed, and I think when you talk about linebackers and up there on the defensive front,
And linemen, as far as that goes.
that's one, that speed in the front seven.
Yeah.
I think the SEC is, forgive the pun, literally in a league of its own. But I think you have select programs. I think you could say Oregon and Ohio State have that kind of speed. I don't think Penn State has that kind of defensive speed.
I don't either. But I think you're right. I think those two do have
so I think there's some isolated. I think
equitable speed.
the Irish has that. Notre Dame has that kind of defensive speed.
Yeah, and I think
But-
Signetti brought that type of speed to Indiana, that type of philosophy to them.
That's what it takes.
On offense, and I
But-
think that's one of the reasons Indiana's been so successful is because of their spread offense, pro-type offense, and get people out there one-on-one, and their quarterbacking is just it's been outstanding. And
I believe if we had the Jamboree lineman run among colleges, that the SEC would take 15 of the top 25 places among the fastest linemen.
Yeah,
and you know, when Lonnie made that statement, you know, Michigan, Ohio State, Turno up at Penn State, you know, they were pretty much running the football. They're going to run the football.
Exactly.
They're going to run it down your throat.
That's what they're going to do.
Big linemen, not necessarily quick linemen, big linemen that could move you out, and big backs that could run that ball where they could control the game, and that's what.
Sure.
But that they've changed.
Well,
they've
the
changed.
game of football has changed.
They have changed that. And so, anyway,
That's true.
I think the SEC is still the football conference in the United States. And one of the reasons that, possibly more teams don't get, Ole Miss went right down to the end last year, and maybe they should have been in the playoffs. But these SEC teams, they just beat each other up, Marcus. Donnie,
really do.
They beat each other up. And
They do, but one thing, you ran through the top of the conference standings. Ole Miss has already played 3 conference games. They came out of the gate. They've already got 3 under their belt. So going into the back half of the year, they've got some cupcakes still on their schedule that they're going to be playing, but they're not going to be playing a viable game while you've got other conference teams beating each other up. I think Ole Miss, because of their schedule, has got a little bit of a leg up going into Thanksgiving week, all the way up into Thanksgiving.
Marcus, if the playoffs were to happen now with the top 12 teams, Ohio State's 1, Miami's 2, Oregon's 3, Ole Miss 4, Texas A&M 5, Oklahoma 6, Indiana 7, Alabama 8, Texas Tech is 9, Georgia 10, LSU 11, and Tennessee 12. You'd have 7 SEC teams, 3 Big Ten, 1 Big 12, and 1 ACC. Now that's if you don't have any non-power schools that are ranked. That's pretty impressive right now for the SEC. But then I get back to that point where they play each other, and you're going to have some pretty good teams that's going to be left out.
Yeah, you are,
because that beat up factor.
I mean, you take that, and so you probably end up with a Boise State, for an example, or a Houston, one of those, or Memphis, one of those not a line that are getting votes.
It's not out of the
knocking the number 12 out.
And we got some teams that are below the 12. Georgia Tech's 5-0, Missouri's 5-0.
Yeah.
BYU's 5-0, and you mentioned Memphis is 6-0. But in these non-Power 4 leagues, Navy's 5-0. Memphis,
Barely.
Memphis,
Barely.
Memphis is
Struggled with their force.
Memphis is 6-0 at number 23, and North Texas is 5-0, all in the American Conference.
Wow.
But
And-
see, that's what you're going to have. And you take that prediction, like right now, Memphis is 23. They're ranked. They have to be considered. So in this scenario, when you're taking the top 12, Memphis bumps out Tennessee.
That's correct. That's correct. I had a note of that. Tennessee would
probably
be out, and Memphis would be in if the
And more than
playoff.
likely, because of the voting, Notre Dame
Yeah.
would knock out LSU at 11.
Yeah.
Think so?
Uh,
You think there'd be some priority there?
You don't
with
think,
John?
Mike, we're well aware of your Irish bias, but by recognizing it, we recognize it comes from a source where the committee tends to love Notre Dame like no other.
Okay. All right. Well, I didn't mention Nevada, Las Vegas, out of the Mountain Conference. They're also 5-0.
They're 5-0 as
They're
well?
5-0. So
Wow.
I'll kind of keep tabs on that from week to week and see how all that plays out. But we're going to have some shake-up today. You know, there's no doubt about it because Oregon,
true.
Indiana play, and Oklahoma and Texas play, and Alabama. I mean, Georgia's got a tough game. LSU. We got some tough games in this top 12.
Indeed.
I think this top 12 is going to look a little bit different next week, huh?
It is, and my hope is we're going to get a clearer picture, but depending on outcomes, we could be even more muddled than we are right now. Because
Imagine
I don't
that.
think anybody knows outside of Ohio State who are the actual contenders and who are the pretenders at this point.
I don't think, Donnie, that this football across the country has looked this balanced for a long time. I mean, it's really balanced.
There are a lot of undefeated teams out there.
You know, for several years, you just look. When Saban was Alabama, it's Alabama, it's Alabama.
Yeah.
You know, it's Ohio State, it's Ohio State. And then it got to be kind of Georgia. But Georgia, they're susceptible to to be getting beat, and they're not a heavy favorite today.
Nope.
So, well, I'll take it with the last word today. You ready for that whistle?
I am.
Been a good one.
It has.
All right, that'll do it for today's edition of the GoTeez Sports Page. Thanks to Aaron Ishmael back at Loud Media, our host of the Bluetick Tavern, and all our sponsors. For Donnie Moore and Marcus Fitzsimmons, until next Saturday, this is Mike Edwards, the Greenfield Gunner, wishing everyone good sports.
And that's the final whistle. Join us again next Saturday for the GoTeez Sports Page. The best in local sports since